did not wear his scarlet coat, for blood and wine are red. And blood and wine were on his hands when they found him with the dead. The poor dead woman whom he loved and murdered in her bed. He walked amongst the trial men in a suit of shabby grey. A cricket cap was on his head, and his step seemed light and gay. But I never saw a man who looked so wistfully at the day. I never saw a man who looked with such a wistful eye upon that little tent of blue which prisoners call the sky, and at every drifting cloud that went with sails of silver by. I walked with other souls in pain within another ring, and was wondering if the man had done a great or little thing, when a voice behind me whispered low, that fellow's got to swing. I only knew what haunted thought quickened his step, and why he looked upon the garish day with such a wistful eye. The man had killed the thing he loved, and so he had to die. Yet each man kills the thing he loves, by each let this be heard. Some do it with a bitter look, some with a flattering word. The coward does it with a kiss, the brave man with a sword. Some kill their love when they are young, and some when they are old. Some strangle with the hands of lust, some with the hands of gold. The kindest use a knife, because the dead so soon grow cold. Some love too little, some too long, some sell and others buy. Some do the deed with many tears, and some without a sigh. For each man kills the thing he loves, yet each man does not die. He does not die a death of shame on a day of dark disgrace, nor have a noose about his neck, nor a cloth upon his face, nor drop feet foremost through the floor into an empty space. He does not sit with silent men who watch him night and day, who watch him when he tries to weep and when he tries to pray, who watch him lest himself should rob the prison of its prey. He does not know that sickening thirst that sends one stroke before. The hangman with his gardener's gloves slips through the padded door and binds one with 3 leathern thongs, that the throat may thirst no more. He does not bend his head to hear the burial of his red, nor while the terror of his soul tells him he is not dead, cross his own coffin as he moves into the hideous shed. He does not stare upon the earth through a little roof of glass. He does not pray with lips of clay for his agony to pass, nor feel upon his shuddering cheek the kiss of Caiaphas. The stones are hard and the dripping wall is high, so it was there he took the air beneath the leaden sky. And by each side a warder walked, for fear the man might die. Or else he sat with those who watched his anguish night and day, who watched him when he rose to weep and when he crouched to pray, who watched him lest himself should rob their scaffold of its prey. The governor was strong upon the Regulations Act. The doctor said that death was but a scientific fact, and twice a day the chaplain called and left a little tract, and twice a day he smoked his pipe and drank his quart of beer. His soul was resolute and held no hiding place for fear. He often said that he was glad the hangman's hands were near. With slouch and swing around the ring we trod the fool's parade. We did not care, we knew we were the devil's own brigade, and shaven head and feet of lead make a merry masquerade. We tore the terror rope to shreds with blunt and bleeding nails. We rubbed the doors and scrubbed the floors and cleaned the shining rails, and rank by rank we sawed the plank and clattered with the pails. We sawed the sacks, we broke the stones, we turned the dust to drill. We banged the tins and balled the hymns and sweated on the mill. But in the heart of every man terror was lying still. That night the empty corridors were full of forms of fear, and up and down the iron town's tall feet we could not hear, and through the bars that hide the stars' white faces seemed to peer. He lay as one who lies and dreams in a pleasant meadowland. The watchers watched him as he slept and could not understand how one could sleep so sweet a sleep with a hangman close at hand. But there is no sleep when men must weep who never yet have wept. So we, the fool, the fraud, the knave, that endless vigil kept, and through each brain on hands of pain another terror crept. The grey cock crew, the red cock crew, but never came the day, and crooked shapes of terror crouched in the corners where we lay, and each evil sprite that walks by night before us seemed to play. They glided past, they glided fast like travelers through a mist. They mocked the moon in a rigadon of delicate turn and twist, and with formal pace and loathsome grace the phantoms kept their tryst. With mop and mow we saw them go slim shadows hand in hand. About in ghostly rout they trod a saraband, and the damned grotesques made arabesques like the wind upon the sand. With the pirouettes of marionettes they tripped on pointed tread, but with flute of fear they filled the ear as they grisly task they led. And loud they sang, and long they sang, for they sang to wake the dead. Oh ho, they cried, the world is wide, but fettered limbs go lame. And once or twice to throw the dice is a gentlemanly game. But he does not win who plays with sin in the secret house of shame. No things of earth's antics were that frolicked with such glee, to men whose lives were held in gyves and whose feet might not go free. Oh, wounds of Christ, they were living things, most terrible to see. Around, around they waltzed and wound, some wheeled in smirking pairs, with the mincing step of a demi-rep, some sidled up the stairs, and with subtle sneer and phoning leer, each helped us at our prayers. The morning wind began to moan, but still the night went on. Through its giant loom the web of gloom crept till each thread was spun. And as we prayed, we grew afraid of the justice of the sun. We were as men who through a fan of filthy darkness grope. We did not dare to breathe a prayer or to give our anguish scope. Something was dead in each of us, and what was dead was hope. With sudden shock the prison clock smote on the shivering air, and from all the jail rose up a wail of impotent despair, like the sound that frightened marshes hear from some leper in his lair. And as one sees most fearful things in the crystal of a dream, we saw the greasy hempen rope hooked to the blackened beam, and heard the prayer the hangman's snare strangled into a scream. And all the woe that moved him so that he gave that bitter cry, and the wild regrets and the bloody sweats none knew so well as I. For he who lives more lives than one, more deaths than one must die. I know not where the laws be right or where the laws be wrong. All that we know who lie in jail is that the wall is strong, and that each day is like a year whose days are long. But this I know, that every law that men have made for man, since first man took his brother's life and the sad word began, but straws the wheat and saves the chaff with the most evil fan. This too I know, and twice it were if each could know the same, that every prison that men build is built with bricks of shame, and bound with bars lest Christ should see how men they brothers maim. With bars they blur the gracious moon and blind the goodly sun, and they do well to hide their hair, for in it things are done the Son of God nor Son of Man ever should look upon. Vilest deeds like poison weeds bloom well in prison air. It is only what is good in man that wastes and withers there. Pale anguish keeps the heavy gate, and the warder is despair. For they starve their little frightened child till it weeps both night and day, and they scourge the weak and flog the fool and jibe the old and grey. And some grow mad and all grow bad, and none a word may say. Each narrow cell in which we dwell is a foul and dark latrine, and the fetid breath of living death chokes up each grated screen. And all but last is turned to dust in humanity's machine. Midnight always in one's heart and twilight in one's cell, we turn the crank or tear the rope, each in his separate hell, and the silence is more awful far than the sound of a brazen bell. And never a human voice comes near to speak a gentle word, and the eye that watches through the door is pitiless and hard. And by all forgot we rot and rot with soul and body marred. And thus we rust life's iron chain, degraded and alone. And some men curse and some men weep, and some men make no moan. But God's eternal laws are kind and break the heart of stone. Hearts can break and peace of pardon win. How else may man make straight his plan and cleanse his soul from sin? How else but through a broken heart may Lord Christ enter in? In Reading jail by Reading town there is a bit of shame, and in it lies a wretched man, eaten by teeth of flame. In a burning winding sheet he lies, and his grave has got no name. And there till Christ call forth the dead, in silence let him lie. No need to waste the foolish tear or heave the windy sigh. The man had killed the thing he loved, and so he had to die. And all men kill the thing they love, by all let this be heard. Some do it with a bitter look, some with a flattering word. The coward does it with a kiss, the brave man with a sword.
sin puerto, que hizo nido en cualquier lugar después de atravesar el mar incierto, y que soñó que su país podría ser un volantín errante, hasta que un día comprendió que el espacio era una prisión más grande. De hablarte y no morderte voy como pájaro que perdió la altura, que creyendo encontrar la paz, aprendió por casualidad la furia. Y para no olvidar el sur, grabó con una aguja azul su ala, creyendo que sin olvidar haría de su recordar su rama. Mis vuelos son lo único que tengo, mi patria, mi razón, mi drogadura, mi trópico, mi obscuro desconcierto, mi Sancho, mi Quijote, mi armadura. De amarte sin quererte estoy, como pájaro que enviudó, de historia que en silencio en algún umbral se sentó para ver pasar las horas y que cubrió su desnudez con lo fugaz de alguna piel morena, confundiendo la libertad con algo que la soledad recuerda. Mis vuelos son lo único que tengo, mi patria, mi razón, mi drogadura, mi trópico, mi obscuro desconcierto, mi Sancho, mi Quijote, mi armadura. ¿Será que la única verdad está en el ir y no en el llegar? Casi nada, que me detesta al punto de escribirme, guardando un sospechoso anonimato, las más atroces cartas con injurias. Hay días que me encierro en mi colmena y me proclamo en estado de sitio. Hay días que me quiero casi nada, hay días y ni te hablo de las noches. Que amanezco bajo cero, culpable de banal melancolía, y alego como prueba de inocencia la vieja coartada del artista. Hay días que me agrieto sin remedio y me declaro zona de emergencia. Hay días que me quiero casi nada, hay días y ni te hablo de las noches. Hay días que por pudor me asesino, que saldo así viejas cuentas pendientes. Hay días que si de mí dependiera, me cerraría hasta el día siguiente. Que despierta duras penas, con un humor a masacrar las flores, y que descargo en mi pasión nefasta, destructivo de mi indiferencia. Hay días que me inyecto la amargura y culpa al prójimo por mis fracasos. Hay días que me quiero casi nada, hay días y ni te hablo de las noches.
De los sobrevivientes será el día siguiente. De los sobrevivientes será el día siguiente. De los sobrevivientes será el día siguiente.